Welcome to UAT Time within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website, firstua.com. I am Olivier Vedrine. UAT Time is dedicated to bring Ukraine and Europe closer to each other by introducing the real Ukraine to the rest of the world. Our guest today is Andriy Voloshyn, political analyst and Ukrainian writer. Welcome, Andriy.
Hello, merci, glory to Ukraine.
Slava Ukraine.
Героям слава.
I want to talk with you about Maidan at first. I know you were on Maidan and you were very active. And can you explain, maybe to introduce you, can you explain what you are, what is your professional activity?
Yeah, my professional activity is mostly online marketing. I have education in marketing, but also second education in political science. So I can combine these two fields. So basically, I worked in IT area, online marketing, and different related issues. But since childhood, I'm interested in politics, and I take active participation in the events. For example, in 2012, I ran for parliament in the single mandate district in Kyiv. And then after actually losing, but that was good experience, I joined Svoboda party and I helped in the international direction of this party. We did many things, and so during Maidan, I was also responsible for the international affairs. It included a large spectrum of activities, starting from just helping the party leader, and sometimes with translations, with consultations, sometimes with organization, and also speaking to a lot of foreign journalists, activists, politicians, and different people. There were, during all Maidan, 100 of meetings, and I'm also thinking that I should write about it, and maybe I will write something, because I'm also a writer. I published several books. If in print, it's poetry books, and this summer I also published a geopolitical book. I published it firstly on Kindle as electronic version, because I wanted to also fight Russian propaganda, which is active in the world.
Yes, and that's why I am very happy that you are here, and I want to talk about you about some key issues of Maidan. You know, at first Maidan began because Yanukovych didn't sign the agreement, and for you, at the beginning of that, you understood that something will happen, something we will have some reaction at the beginning. You understood something about this increasing way of revolution?
No, for me as a political analyst, as a citizen, it was like completely unpredictable. For me as a writer, on the subconscious level, I predicted it, because in my poetry book, which I published, it's a bilingual book also in English. Later, when I read it after Maidan and after everything happened, I was shocked that really in many poems I predicted what would happen, but it was a subconscious prediction. And I think that nobody predicted, nobody could expect what will happen and what will be. And also we know that if there would be no attack on protesters on the 30th of November, there would be the protest, probably the scale of protest, the level would decrease, and then the process of changing power, it could be at 2015 on the planned presidential elections.
That was the mistake of Yanukovych administration. Yes, yeah. Why they did that the 30th of November? Why they beat some students? That's incredible. And I want to underline another fact, because you know the Russian propaganda, they talked a lot about complot of USA, of the European Union, and you said right now to me that that was a surprise. And if you have to give an answer to the Russian propaganda, what you will say?
I already gave this answer in several interviews, both during Maidan and after Maidan, in communication and in the book which I published. And also I would say, like, from personal experience, because I had the chance to be present on, at that time, high-level meetings, which included Victoria Nuland and high top US officials at that time. And I know that there were like no American influence at the level which Russian propaganda is trying to use. Moreover, Western diplomats, they wanted to keep the process calm. They said, like, all the time that you need to lower the scale of the protesters. They wanted, like, basically to help with the diplomatical solving of the situation.
You mean that the Western diplomat didn't support at the beginning a lot?
They supported the incentive that Ukrainian choice of signing association, but they did not support Maidan at the level which Russian propaganda, because we know Russian propaganda says that Maidan was planned by USA, and they want to explain Russian sins against Ukraine by using the geopolitical terms. And so they exaggerate and they invent the Western influence. I mean that the Western diplomats, they wanted the protests to be like peaceful protests.
Yeah,
there was even at the time this famous saying, Gandhi style. Yes. So, and there was like no. So it's this Russian propaganda, what you're saying, it's just very ill-fabricated conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. I read many books that are much more interesting conspiracy theories, so I'm surprised when somebody believes them.
Yeah, and you made the European diplomat and you made the US diplomat. And did you see a difference between them on Maidan at the beginning? Did you see difference? The US was more active, or EU was more active, or they were like, we are expecting a peaceful way, please?
Yeah, they were united in a way that everybody said about peaceful way.
Peaceful way,
mm-hmm. Yes. And that's the problem, that Yanukovych, he did not care about their recommendation. He didn't care about the people's mood and attitudes, because you know, if he would, even after the day of beating of the students, if he would dismiss Zakharchenko, Minister of Interior, immediately, or like in a day, maybe the situation could calm down. Maybe. If after this protest on Grushevskoy Street, if he would immediately apologize and send away to dismiss Azarov, maybe the situation would also calm down. But he was very wrong in a political terms of this. He didn't want to give any compromises.
At the beginning of December, and Maidan was really, I cannot say a nice era, but that was a lot of person came with their own family, old people, young people. And I remember on December, that was like nice days of the revolution.
Yes, yes.
December. And in January, that was more quiet. And the crisis, Maidan came back in February. How you can explain those, I think, 3 steps of Maidan? First December, then January, more, I can say, quiet, and February, and we know the end.
Yeah, I would say the first stage could be called first like student protests, when political parties were not so involved. It was like relatively not big gatherings, and if there would be no beating of students, it could calm down as a thing. Because I followed at the time opposition meetings which took place in spring, summer, and before they were. It seemed that they have no vision how to really fight Yanukovych. Then after the beating of students became, there was 1st of December and first clashes, especially on Bankova Street. Then there was the period which you mentioned, this calm situation, which lasted till the so-called dictatorship laws, the bench of laws, after which the right sector started clashes on Grushevskoy Street. So this from the beginning of December till 19th of January, it was a quiet period, and at this time I even remember that there were, of course, many people who wanted like more radical changes. And that's why they criticized the opposition leaders at the time. But some people even expected that maybe Maidan will stand, it could stand till spring.
Yeah, I remember.
Or some
that.
even say that it can even stand till the presidential elections.
I remember.
And we can think it could be possible if not the mistakes of Yanukovych and his team. Then this, after clashes on Grushevskoy Street, like 3-4 days of very active fighting. There is also some period of time till the 18th of February, which was also, the atmosphere was very dangerous, but it was relatively peaceful.
Yes, dangerous but peaceful. This is the right words. Dangerous but peaceful. And what's happened at the end of February? Why Yanukovych killed his own people?
I think because he is a fool and he.
And what do you think
about? He doesn't
about
care about his people. Even at that time, Maidan process, they did not influence and didn't make him cautious directly. They influenced him indirectly because they influenced the position of oligarchs who supported him. They influenced the international agenda and international situation, which also influenced him. And it influenced in some way the law enforcement structures. Because, for example, we may remember that after this bloody massacre, he understood that he's losing support in the law enforcement structures. And this also, I think, was one of the reasons why he flew away, why he escaped, because he is a very paranoid type of person, as his people who were close to him describe him. So he didn't care about killing his people.
Typical Soviet way of thinking.
Yes, and even because we know he had spent time in jail, he's from like... and was surrounded by criminal background where they do not care about lives of his
And
people.
what do you think, another question, very interesting, because I was on Maidan and I saw the people. And the people, they were not in favor of all those leaders. And how you can explain the difference between the people and the leaders? The people, they really wanted change, but they didn't want the former leaders. Can you explain to us why? What's happening?
Yes, the leaders' attitude, it was to negotiate the deal with Yanukovych. We may remember that after the clashes on Grushevskoy Street, there was a popular notion of transitional government. And Yanukovych even said he proposed Yatsenyuk to head this government, which would be transitional till next elections. And Yatsenyuk was happy about this to become a prime minister. And even before this, I thought that the mood of the political leaders of the time opposition, it was not so radical, because they grew up in different environment, and also because it's hard to take responsibility for people's lives.
Yeah.
If they would say, let's go to storm, to capture government administrations and buildings, we don't know what would happen. And it's always its big responsibility. And the mood of people, it always was ahead of the mood of leaders.
Yeah.
So basically leaders, they followed the mood of people.
I am agree with this analysis. What do you now, for you, what is the heritage of Maidan, and what are you waiting for now with this government and with this new Ukraine we are building now?
I think the heritage of Maidan and also what happened after Maidan, Russia's annexation on Crimea and the war, Russia's aggression on Ukrainian territories in the east, I think it means the no turning back point that now there couldn't be in power forces, political forces which are pro-Russians or influenced by Russia, because now we know the enemy. And now we know that there is a fifth column in Ukraine, but in this time there is like no turning back. We can't deal with Russia, we can't be friends with Russia as it is now. Heritage of Maidan that it showed, I think this question is not yet crystallized, because even that 2 years, many expectations of people were not met. There are some new people which came, say, like from Maidan, or new faces, but the number of them is relatively small, which
Very
could be
small.
And they have like not so big influence, and there was like no real punishment for the criminals, corruptionaires, and for those who are guilty in the deaths in Maidan and who are guilty in spreading and promoting of separatism, anti-Ukrainian, anti-state activities in large territory of Ukraine. For example, different communists who bought and gave weapons to criminals. There is like no big processes. I think the situation is changing because I'm an optimist, and I think in some way it is changing in a positive, but very slowly. And now we even have a bigger notion of political prisoners who are actually Ukrainian patriots. For example, so-called case of Buzina killers. Buzina, Russian propagandist and writer, you know this case, who was killed in summer in Kiev, and two patriots, one of whom was actually, I knew one of them who was a very active Maidan activist, and for some time he was head of Pechersk region Svoboda organization. So they were on Maidan. They, after Maidan, fought on the east, so Ukrainian heroes, and they are kept in custodies on the basis of fabricated case. And fabricated case against whom? Russian propagandist was killed.
Do you think that the Maidan is, you know, in Ukraine, I think at first Maidan was in favor of, was also because of the non-signature of the agreement, but I saw very rapidly that Maidan was at first for Ukraine and not for European Union. And now, can you explain to us how you, in which way you see the process of Ukraine to go to the European Union, and how many time that will take?
Maidan, first stage of Maidan, before the beating of tourists, it has main goal signation of association agreement. But after the beating of students, it was against Yanukovych rule, against corrupted regime, which showed this its face in such a brutal way. So after that time, the main agenda was basically against Yanukovych, against corruption, against oligarch, against the negative behavior of different structures, such as like police acted. Regarding European Union, it's a hard question to predict, and I think that in any case, I wrote an article which was called Western Integration or Black Sea Domination. I think that Ukraine should develop more active and more powerful foreign policy and increase cooperation and integration with the nearby countries on the Baltic Black Sea axis. it should follow the political increasement of cooperation, also military, economical, and many factors show that more and more people from different countries are interested in this cooperation. And then at the point when Ukraine develops this cooperation, then we'll see. It would be easier to integrate into European unions, or maybe at that time there won't be such a necessity. Mm-hmm. Also, we need to make real reforms to raise Ukrainian economy and clean the Ukrainian administration from corrupted corrupted officials and pro-Russian officials, which who are like fifth column agents.
And what do you think about? Yes, now we are in this after Maidan period. And what are you waiting from US and EU? You are waiting some financial aid or also some technical support. What are you waiting after in this period of after Maidan?
When Russia annexed territory of Ukraine, Crimea, and sponsored terrorists in the east of Ukraine, it violated Budapest Memorandum, which was signed in 1984. And many times on different meetings, different levels, we even organized a conference regarding Budapest Memorandums. We addressed and we said that because Russia violated this memorandum, but United States and the United Kingdom are also signatories, so they should do more. If they are, we understand from geopolitical reasons, they are afraid to give a large military support, or they are afraid to defend Ukraine, they can give financial support. And for me, my idea that this support should go not only and not to the government, but maybe to different organizations and individuals which would create new working places, new enterprises, new companies. And on this level, under individual responsibility, these funds, they can really develop and raise the economy of Ukraine, because we have like more than 1.5 billion of EDPs. Many people are without jobs. We can and we should create new companies, organizations also from different sectors, from agricultural, IT, and also military sector.
And in this period now, we will have a lot of ceremonies about Maidan. And what is your point of view? What do you think about those ceremonies, and which ceremony you can propose, you think about? And I want to know your way of thinking about all those ceremonies. What do you think about that?
I think, of course, it's necessary to remember what happened. But now people are not expecting ceremonies, they're expecting like real results. And there are a lot of things to do in these directions. I'm not expecting anything special at this time. I think the bigger reforms and the real results, it would be like the best commemoration of the Maidan period. And also those people who were guilty in killing of people during Maidan, they should be persecuted. So the society should hear the direct answer. What happened to those who were guilty, were in charge, why they are living abroad, and some people who were related, they even live in Ukraine or visit Ukraine frequently.
I understand. We have to end this interview because the time is flying. But really thank you for this interview. Really thank you for your analysis and your point of view. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
It was United Country UAT time by First Ukraine. Olivier Vedrine was working for you in the studio. Stay with us and we will show to you the real Ukraine. Thank you for being with us. Have a good day and see you soon.